If you guys eat a lot of yogurt, you know that yogurt is expensive, especially if you have more than one person who eats it. We have a family of 4. We eat a lot of yogurt. Hey guys, so I am sent things all the time, and I do not say yes unless I think I will use it, for instance. And if I don't like it, I just don't show it to you guys. So the different listings of things you can, settings you can do are meat for stew, white rice, slow cook, hot pot, poultry, brown rice, yogurt, saute brown, soup, multigrain cereal, boiled pasta, bake. I wonder if I could make bread in this. That would be awesome. Beans for chili, steamed vegetables, steamed potatoes, and reheat. So it sounds like it's like one pot does everything, which to my mind is amazing, as long as it's on a microwave. Hey guys, so here is my first trial run. I've got to try and remember how to say it. Kasori. I've seen a lot of pictures and things on Pinterest about instant pots. I don't know if this is the same as an instant pot because I'm not sure what that is, but it sure sounds like a pressure cooker, just with the fancy name on it. And oh, I wanted to show you. Okay, so this is my pressure cooker that I took with us in our RV. I would not live without a pressure cooker now that I've used one. I think there are certain points where you don't want to use a pressure cooker to speed things up, things like bone broths, anything where it's more of a pulling nutrition out of the food. It needs to take a slow, long time, you know. Then I use my pressure cooker without the pressure part. I just put the lid on and let it cook normally for several hours. But when I need something fast, like cooked potatoes for mashed potatoes or squash or sweet potatoes or anything where I just need to cook fast, I hate the microwave. I hate it. And I refuse to use it. I think it ruins your food, and I don't think it's healthy to have it in your house. So that's just my weirdness. So the brand that I use is Fagor, and this is what it looks like. It has this is turned to be pressurized, and then this, it doesn't want to go up. I think I have to maybe be on the lid for it to go up, but this locks it while it's pressurizing. And then it has this little silicone ring that allows it to pressurize. So the premise of a pressure cooker is that an open pot releases heat and it takes a long time to heat up. A closed pot with a lid on takes much less time to heat up and boil. Now, a pressurized lid means that all the steam is trapped inside and you get much higher temperatures that are easy to attain and hold and stay and cook the food quickly. That's a pressure cooker. A pressure cooker is no different from a canner, except that with the pressure canner, you can adjust the pounds pressure, and you can, a lot of times they're bigger. And so, sorry, whoever suggested that I needed to go in and have my hand and my arm looked at from the goat goring and have a chiropractor look at it, thank you so much. I went and got adjusted. It turned out my elbow was out and all the bones in my wrist were out, but I'm really tired now. It's been bothering me for so long that I'm really wiped out. So I'll try really hard to focus on the video, but I'm tired. Okay, so first things first, this is kind of like a crock pot. See if I can change my pressure cooker. Is gonna look more like a crock pot. And the fun thing is that with this particular one, it has so many variables that it is a crock pot. You can set it to warm, you can set it to low for 4 hours, you can set it to high for 4 hours, or you can set it to pressure cook. And so one of the neat things about this, if it works the way that it's supposed to, is that you can brown things in it. It has a metal, really nice thick stainless steel inside pot. You want to make sure that the bottom isn't wet when you put it in, because this is a heating element in here. So there's that. We use raw goat's milk, and if we want to make real yogurt, we do have to bring it up to a simmer, and then, which I think regular low pasteurization is 160 degrees Fahrenheit. There are certain cultures where you don't have to pasteurize it. For instance, creme fraiche. When we do a creme fraiche culture, which we get from New England Cheese Company, it's delicious. You can put it in whole milk instead of just cream, and it's it tastes like baby's smell, that milky smell that you get off of new babies. It's sweeter, and it's really thick, and it's wonderful. So I like to use the creme fraiche start because I don't have to pasteurize it at all. I can just put it into warm milk. But we're making yogurt. So if this thing works for yogurt, it is worth its weight in gold, because I have a tendency to walk out of the room when I'm heating my milk up, and then it'll boil over. And it does need to be set on a timer. It needs to do a certain amount of time in order to pasteurize it, and then it needs to cool back down, and then it needs to stay warm. Here's the important part. It has to stay warm for a certain number of hours at a certain temperature, usually about 85 degrees, and it needs to stay there for several hours. And I've tried to use a crock pot before to make my yogurt. So the way that I do it in a crock pot is that I fill this with water, and then I have my jar with my cultured milk. I have my warm milk that's been pasteurized that then I added culture to, and I close it and I put it in here, and then I turn it to warm. But then I have to go check on it, and I have to leave the lid off, and I have to check on it, and then I have to leave the lid off, and then I have to bring the temperature up, and then I have to take the temperature down. So what I usually have a tendency to do is I will put my cultured milk next to, within about a foot of my wood burning stove, and usually that has a better result than just trying to do it with a crock pot. The other way that I've done it is you can take your really nice warm milk that's cultured and put it into a big thermos and just let it sit out on the counter for 8 hours. And if you don't, but I would recommend getting one that isn't plastic. Instead, get one that's metal or glass, and that's a really great way to go. I don't think I think I've seen one that's called a Yogotherm or something that kind of follows that same premise. You just put your warm milk into this thing that keeps it warm for a really long period of time. This one to me feels like it would be super fun to try. There's so many different neat things that it can do, and if you've ever been on Pinterest, you know that some of the recipes out there, the way people use things blow my mind, and then the ways that they invent to be able to use tools like this. The one that I'm excited to use next is the cornbread. We're gonna go find some sprouted corn flour, and it worked really well for our family, and I'm going to, because if you put it in the steamer basket, then the steam cooks it and it stays moist. And so there's a lot of different things you can do with something like this. You can steam your eggs, which is how we like to hard boil our eggs, how we like to cook our hard boiled eggs. So I'm actually really excited. I'm going to try and see how many recipes I can do with it before Christmas. Sorry, I'm not actually on any medication. I'm just really tired. What was I gonna say? Okay, they do have a coupon code on this. I'm trying to get it trial run, give it a good trial run before Christmas so that if you guys want it, you can get the discount. I was surprised that it wasn't more expensive, but when I looked at the price, it was the same price as what I had paid for my stovetop pressure cooker. And by the way, I would never get rid of my stovetop pressure cooker just because I had this. Even if I use this every day, I'm not going to get rid of the other one, because in an emergency situation, if you have propane, this pressure cooker would be a lifesaver. So here's the recipe book, and you can find more recipes for any pressure cooker thing you can do it in this. So here's the recipes, and this is more of like the general care guideline thing. Yogurt. All right, here we go. Okay. The nice thing is, if you've bought yogurt lately, if you're getting good organic yogurt, it's going to be $5 a quart. I got this organic milk for $3.49 a gallon, which means I can make 4 at the cost of 1. Pour the necessary amount of milk, but we're not pressurizing it. Also, make sure not to have the power cord draped over the side of the counter, because kids can pull on it or trip on it, and this is a very safe tool, but you really don't want to be bumping it or hitting it on things. It has a lot of safety features on it, but if it were to actually drop, hit something really hard, likelihood is it would be fine, but you really don't want to play with that. You want it to be kept very safe against the wall, and you don't want to let kids mess with it. It is a pressurized tool. Okay, ingredients and water liquid should not exceed 4/5 height of the inner pot. If the ingredients expand easily in water, then the total amount should not exceed 3/5 of the height of the inner pot. So if you have something like beans or something, you don't want to fill it with beans to the top level. You want to fill it with beans down to about 1.5 liters, and then water as much as you need. But the thing, okay, so this one isn't going to expand. And plug it in. So it looks like the power's working. Okay, so I think I figured out what the water collection cup is. I think it's this little thing, so that if there's steam, it catches it. Okay, water collection cup. And it doesn't expand, and I want to make 1 gallon of yogurt. There's nothing here to tell me what the temperature is now inside. I need to let it go down to 115 degrees, but how am I supposed to know when it hits that? The other thing is there's something of a plasticky smell. I wonder if it's just because it's the first time it's been used. There was a very strong plasticky smell when I opened the box. That doesn't necessarily mean that it won't burn off and be okay. I did wash the lid and every other part, so it could just be that it's first time it's heat up. But it could be that the milk may have come up and over a little bit. At 180 degrees, it's not boiling, but it's very hot, and it may have like tried to overflow. So that might be what I'm smelling. It's not pressurized when it comes up to 180, but it is still very hot. So I'm a little worried about trying to open it, but I need to open it and see what my temperature is. Okay, so it's warm, but it's not hot, and I see a little bit of a skim on the top, which is what would happen if it had been heated up. But you know, I let it sit for quite a while. Usually it takes a lot longer than that if I'm doing it in the pot on the stove. It takes a lot longer than that to cool back down again. I just find that really interesting. So I can put my finger in it, and so it's of a temperature that I can put the yogurt in. I picked plain yogurt. It may still be a little bit too hot, but it's pretty close. I mean, I can put my hand in there, or my finger, and I can leave it in there. It's not necessarily comfortable, but it's not painful. Okay, so now I'm gonna press the yogurt button again, and then cook time, 8 hours. Start. I would really like would be if I could see what the temperature inside was. It has a heat sensor in there, so I don't know why it wouldn't show it, but it may have that setting somewhere and I just haven't seen it. So
I should say. And anyway, I probably need to go to the bathroom.
okay, so I think it may have been too hot when I put in the start, so I'm going to grab some more start. anytime you try a new culture, anytime you try a new milk, anytime you try a new method, you're going to have highs and lows, and it's going to take time to figure it out. So just the fact that it's a pressure cooker and a crock pot is really neat to me. I think it's pretty. I think it's self-contained. If it makes yogurt too, I am going to be in hog heaven. Hey guys, I'm actually sick today, and I don't really want to show my face because I don't have makeup on. So I wanted to show you. This was a 2-time trial run, but I wanted to show you how well it's set up. See that? And this is whole milk with cream on the top, and so that's why it's really, really yellow. Honey, do you want to hand me the smaller? So this yogurt cost us $3.49 to make, and this is going to take forever.
Why is this going to
Maybe.
take forever?
Because I don't have the appropriately sized, so instead of it costing $3 to $5, oh, this one's really going to be too small. Instead of it costing $3 to $5 to make 1 quart, it cost us less than $1. And this one doesn't have any additives in it. It's just that I'm really, really good at packaging things and making things look beautiful. I mean, my presentation on this stuff is amazing. Can you hand me one of the green cups and we'll pour the rest of this in there?
And both of us can, no, not both of us. Is there enough to put into 2?
Yep.
Yes.
It is yogurt.
Good yogurt.
It's nice and thick, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the girls and I eat a lot of times at breakfast. Very simple, very inexpensive, as long as you're not buying it retail. So thoughts on the Cookery pot / instant pot are, I'm really excited to try it more. If I had some of my more normal ingredients, it would be easier for me to tell how quickly things work. So I need to get some cultures, but big thumbs up.
Betcha.
And the link is in the description below. Again, I didn't make any money on this. This is just a really fun tool. The funny thing is, yesterday I looked around and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have 2 pressure cookers. And I never knew that would be a good thing, but I had one of them making yogurt and the other one on the stovetop was making dinner.
You're so exorbitant.
I'm so exorbitant. I'm over the top.
Yeah.
The fridge is starting to look more and more like it belongs to my house. So we have all that is bone broth, all that is yogurt, and this is kimchi. And there's the little dishwasher. Good job, little dishwasher.
Yeah, waiting for big dishwasher to get here.
So, huge success. If you know you want one, I have the link in the description below for the code, but as far as me being able to say off the cuff that I adore and would recommend this, I don't know yet. So, if you already know you want one, save yourself some money. If you don't, then keep watching and we will be trying it out for the next few, probably weeks, to see if we love it.